Hello guys, today in this video, we are going to help you to find out the best soundbars in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion, and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review, and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Number 10. Samsung HW-S800B. If you want big sound, you often have to get a beefy soundbar, which can cut off an inch or two of your TV screen. The incredibly slight Samsung HW-S800B soundbar doesn't have that problem. Samsung has packed multiple angled speakers and big sound to rival all of the best soundbars in this list in a slim soundbar that we guess is approximately a quarter of the physical volume of the class-leading Sonos Arc. That's supplemented by a fairly small subwoofer to add the low-end grunt that a compact soundbar unit can't. It's fully equipped for Dolby Atmos, including up-firing drivers, and ranks strongly for delivering that positional audio. During our testing, we found that overhead sounds do come from the ceiling, and effects have convincing width and motion across the screen. At times, we genuinely felt that the audio quality of this soundbar was borderline impossible for the slim design compared to much bigger units, and the sub helps by providing a controlled but impactful low end. Number 9. Devialet Dion. The Devialet Dion might be ultimate single-unit soundbar. No subwoofer, no rear speakers, just plug it in and go. The reason is that Devialet has packed 8 woofer drivers in here to create bass as full and deep as a subwoofer can manage, and it really works. It means the soundbar is a bit of a best, but it's only as wide and tall as something like the Sonos Arc. Actually, it's shorter than the Arc, so as long as the depth isn't a problem, it'll still fit in your room. It's got a clever spherical center speaker enclosure too, which enables this driver to rotate so that it always faces you no matter whether you have it flat on the TV table or wall-mounted in an upright position. After testing it, we said that it produces a massive but also beautifully constructed and balanced soundstage underpinned by arguably the finest bass performance we've heard from a soundbar that doesn't deploy an external subwoofer. Number 8. Bowers & Wilkins Panorama 3. If you're looking for a convincing alternative to the Sonos Arc at a similar price, we'd recommend the Bowers & Wilkins Panorama 3. It's a great choice. This sleek-looking soundbar offers 3.1.2 channels of cinematic sound, Dolby Atmos support, and lots of control options, including a touch-sensitive panel on the bar itself. In our tests, the Panorama 3 was engrossing, punchy, and dynamic without sacrificing the natural and coherent sound Bowers is known for. The soundstage is wide and spacious. Although we felt the Dolby Atmos feature could be more convincing, we didn't get the same sense of height that you'd get from Sennheiser's Ambeo soundbar or a pair of overhead speakers. Number 7. Sonos Beam Gen 2. If you're tight on space, the Sonos Beam Gen 2 is the best soundbar you can buy. Its compact size means it will easily slot beneath your TV, whether you pop it on a TV stand or mount it to your wall, and a sleek design means it won't look out of place with your decor. It's compact enough to work with 32-inch TVs, just about, but it's a perfect fit with 40-inch TVs up to 50-inch TVs. It improves on the company's original Sonos Beam soundbar with virtual Dolby Atmos, HDMI Arc compatibility, and a refreshed design. While it doesn't have the up-firing tweeters necessary for true Dolby Atmos, and as a result, we found the sonic height isn't as impressive as the Sonos Arc, the Sonos Beam Gen 2 boasts a wide soundstage and an immersive audio performance. It's very detailed, impressively dynamic for switching between loud and quiet suddenly, and is just as good with music as it is with movies. Number 6. Samsung HWQ800A. Don't have space for rear speakers and don't want to spend too much money? The Samsung Q800A is a superb package for getting Dolby Atmos sound that you can really feel without putting a big dent in your wallet. It's not too big either. We'd recommend it for TVs of 48 inches and up. One of the reasons we like this soundbar so much is because it has actual upfiring drivers. That means it can deliver more convincing Atmos height than soundbars without upfiring speakers, and we found that the horizontal sound stage was nice and wide too. Add in some impressively meaty bass and you've got the ideal home entertainment experience without having to fill your room with hardware. There are some useful tricks for new Samsung TV owners too. You can combine it with the sound optimization features of the new Q70A or higher Samsung TVs, enabling you to get an even bigger and clearer sound. Number 5. Samsung HWQ990B. The Samsung HWQ990B is the high-end Dolby Atmos soundbar system from Samsung's 2022 range, and it's essentially the upgraded version of the Samsung HWQ950A above. Like the HWQ950A, it delivers 1.1.4 channels of audio that it directs around and above, delivered from a combination of soundbar, subwoofer, and 2 wireless rear speaker units. But it's made some refinements from the previous model. A new acoustic lens on the subwoofer diffuses the sound better around the room. The rear speakers have been redesigned to better help the precision of the upfiring drivers. There is now space-fit automatic room compensation to help maintain detail in the sound as it reflects around, and the sound has generally been tweaked and re-engineered. Number 4. Sony HT-A7000. Sony has excellent form with making some of the best soundbars for TV, and the 2021 What Hi-Fi? Award-winning HT-A7000 is no different. A 7.1.2 slab of sound, this Dolby Atmos soundbar packs in 2 upfiring speakers, 2 beam tweeters, 5 front-facing drivers, and a built-in dual subwoofer into a single chassis. Using a combination of driver placement and psychoacoustic techniques, the Sony HT-A700 delivers a broad and high soundstage, whether you're watching immersive content or not, while retaining musicality, presence, and detail. In terms of height and precision, the performance is similar to that of the Sonos Arc, but the width of the soundstage and its forward projection is more convincing. It's not the same as having direct audio from the speaker above or the side, but it's effective and dramatically enticing, enriching the viewing experience. The integrated sub is also particularly impressive with a taut, controlled, and powerful performance. Number 3. Sonos Arc. Sonos has managed to cram an entire surround sound solution into its Arc soundbar. It isn't cheap, but if you're already a fan of Sonos, then we think you're going to love the way this soundbar delivers really impressive surround sound. The Sonos Arc draws on Dolby's latest True HD and Dolby Digital Plus sound codecs to deliver the best quality lossless audio found on cutting-edge Blu-ray discs and some of the leading streaming services. It then enhances the 3D soundscape using Dolby Atmos object tracks to bounce certain sounds off the walls around you so they feel like they're coming at you from all angles. We thought the effect was pretty convincing in our tests, and while it's not as immersive as overhead speakers mounted on your ceiling, it's a lot easier to install. We also liked the simple setup, which involved just a couple of steps on the smartphone app, and as you'd expect, it's easy to hook it up to other Sonos speakers. The minimalist cable connections and all-in-one system construction add to this no-fuss feeling and streamlined aesthetic, making it the best single-unit Dolby Atmos soundbar you can buy. Number 2. Sony HT-G700. We think the Sony HT-G700 hits an excellent sweet spot for features, price, and the scale of its sound. It's a soundbar and wireless subwoofer combo, and the soundbar is a good size for TVs of 48 inches and up. As we've come to expect from Sony, there's more to this soundbar than just stereo, as good as that is. It supports both the Dolby Atmos and DTS-X Elite surround sound formats, which is not something guaranteed in even more high-end soundbars, and Sony uses its excellent sound processing and acoustic wizardry to create a real wall of sound that stretches way beyond the limits of your TV screen, but with convincing positioning and direction of specific sounds. It might not be quite as good as the Sonos, but it's definitely up there. Sony hasn't forgotten about the basics, though. The subwoofer gives it depth and bass that something like the Sonos Arc can't match on its own, and speech is really clear even in busy action soundtracks, and that's without the speech boosting mode turned on. Number 1. Sennheiser Ambeo Soundbar. The Ambeo Soundbar is Sennheiser's first consumer speaker, and it's quite the proposition, a premium soundbar crammed full of features including Dolby Atmos and DTS-X support, 4K HDR pass-through, all of which are useful if Netflix and/or Amazon are your main movie and TV show source. You also get auto-calibration and 4 HDMI inputs, plus Bluetooth and support for Chromecast. Measuring 127 centimeters wide and 14 centimeters tall, it's certainly a beast. The result is that the Sennheiser delivers a sound big enough not to need its own subwoofer, with clear, direct dialogue and detail and subtlety in spades. The way it stretches the sound around you creates a great atmosphere and really draws you into the action.